What it do, everyday people, man? We back up in this thing, lit again. It's about to get lit, live, in effect. If you don't know, fool, you better ask them. Am I froze? Oh. That was old. Alright, man. What it do, everyday people, man? We back live up in this thing. We on Facebook, Instagram. Shout out to everybody who's following me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on here on YouTube. I got a new channel where y'all will be seeing all the live story times and all that crap. You'll see all that. So just some more stuff to bring to y'all. It's the same shit, really. It's the same shit, but different formats. And you can choose how you want to watch, man. But I just want y'all to support all the channels. I'll be sharing that on my YouTube channel tomorrow. I'll be sharing that. And I'm going to just let that go from there. And then y'all can always tune in and check that out. I'm going to try to keep going live as much as possible. And making new content as much as possible, man. We trying to run it up for the end of 2025. Bring in 2026 the right way. So make sure you follow me on Facebook, everydaypj. Follow me on Twitch, everydaypj. Of course, I'll be sharing a new YouTube channel tomorrow. All right. So today we got Chuck Schumer. We got Chuck Schumer in the house. Chickadee Chuck Schumer in the house. All right. We're gonna be talking about, shit, I guess we're gonna be talking about the government shutdown. We also got something, I just want to briefly touch on it because it's really idiotic, and I just want to give, I guess, just give a message at the beginning of this, because it's really idiotic and it's uncalled for, regardless if you're a Democrat or Republican. Doing stupid shit, you win stupid prizes, okay? So don't do stupid shit. All right, so let's get into it, all right? I ain't gonna hold y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
We start right now with the alleged murder for hire plot targeting Attorney General Pam Bondi. A 29-year-old Minnesota man was arrested earlier this month after police say he posted that threat on TikTok. The FBI reportedly tipped off by another TikTok user to his post offering a $45,000 bounty. That post had a photo of Bondi with a sniper scope red dot on her head.
The suspect, Tyler Maxon Avalos, has ties to anarchist ideology, according to the FBI. He also has prior convictions for felony stalking, domestic battery, domestic assault, according to court documents. NBC News Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins us now. Kelly, what more are we learning about this plot?
Well, I'm not even sure we can call it a plot. This is a threat, and he's been charged as making a threat over state lines, and that is the environment we're living in, where there's heated rhetoric, and the challenge for investigators is looking at when political speech and those kinds of things cross the line. And in this case, they have filed a charge of a federal count against Tyler Avalos, who's 29 years old, from Minnesota. He does have some criminal history for felony stalking and domestic abuse. And in this case, by posting a very specific threat against the Attorney General, and this was on TikTok, and there was the sort of visual that goes with it of using a target, that certainly escalates things, and it put a dollar amount of $45,000. That is the extent of what we know based on the documents that have been filed thus far. And it was important to point out that the FBI official who presented this to the court said they have other information, but they were providing in this public document enough to establish the probable cause here. The Department of Justice is not commenting on this. That is, at this point, probably not surprising when you're talking about the security environment. Many officials across the federal government, and as we've seen in state government as well, a real concern about trying to discern when a threat is angry language or when it is actually leading toward the potential for some action.
The new hour here, and another threat of political violence in America. The FBI making an arrest in a chilling murder-for-hire plot targeting Attorney General Pam Bondi. We are learning brand new details at this hour. Welcome back as America Reports heads into hour two. I'm Sandra Smith in New York.
Scary stuff, Sandra. I'm John Roberts. In Washington, the 29-year-old Minnesota man is accused of putting out a $45,000 hit on the Attorney General. It all started on TikTok when a post with the bounty started going viral before setting off a swift federal investigation.
And the suspect's rap sheet is long, and his online activity reveals ties to anarchist symbolism and anti-government literature.
Our justice correspondent David Spunt live here in Washington. What else are we learning, David, about the suspect?
Well, John, he is charged with threatening Attorney General Bondi in a TikTok post. According to authorities in this affidavit that we just saw a couple of hours ago, unsealed recently, he allegedly offered a $45,000 bounty. In the post, there's a photo, and this was on TikTok, a photo of the Attorney General with a sniper red dot, and it reads, "Wanted Pam Bondi, reward $45,000, dead or alive, preferably dead." That's a quote. He is in custody. Additionally, his TikTok page had anarchist symbols, according to the affidavit filed. The affidavit reads, quote, "Additionally, the suspect user's TikTok page had a link to an anarchist FAQ book pinned to his page. According to open source research, as well as based on your Affiance training and experience, anarchism is a political philosophy and movement that seeks to abolish all institutions that perpetuate authority, coercion, or hierarchy, primarily targeting the state and capitalism." Now, FBI agents John and Sandra from Detroit, Michigan received a tip from someone who was on TikTok, noticed the post in their feed, then reported this post. The FBI worked with Google, Comcast, and TikTok to find this guy. Google helped with IP logins, IP locations. They also were able to find his email. Now, according to the affidavit, he has a multi-state criminal history, as you mentioned, including a 2022 felony stalking and domestic assault misdemeanor charge. We reached out to the Justice Department. So far, we're being told no comment.
The new hour here.
All right, so here's the TikTok anarchist arrested for trying to take out Pam Bondi. Now, this is where you talk about the rhetoric that people put online and stuff is getting out of control. It's far too common. These are really politics, man. Politics is a dangerous game. But being stupid and posting this type of stuff, even conspiring to do it, is dumb. Like, Pam Bondi, although she is a different type of individual, putting a hit on her is idiotic. So I just want to let y'all know that, like, we ain't gonna tolerate that crap here. So you can say what you want, but don't be wishing death on people. Not in my chat, not in my comment section. We just not doing that. We can have our opinions. We can say, cry your liberal tears, or so-and-so's a convict, or this person need to go, this person ugly, all that stuff. But we will not be tolerating criminal mischief or putting hits on nobody. Okay? So keep it light in the chat, please. Refrain from using curse words in your comments. If you do, misspell them, please, so we don't have to be blocking you. We won't block you. We'll block your message, because it's just, we're not for the hate speech. We can laugh and joke, but this takes the fun out of it. All right. So shout out to you if you're a Republican, Democrat. I really don't give a shit. Point is, this stuff will not be tolerated. Okay. And that's what we just want to get to, okay? All right, now let's get to the mess.
Them back. So,
yeah, I want to do a story.
Keeping the government closed. He's not bringing them back so that they can't even.
This is in the Senate. He doesn't have anything to do with the House, Jessica.
But you need the House to vote on.
Yeah, after the Senate goes.
Yeah,
Jessica.
I understand.
You guys in the Senate are not voting to open the government. Isn't that right, Kayla?
Well, we don't
Do I
need
have
to.
that correct?
They're not making a compromise with us, Johnson. No, you don't have the numbers. Then get 60
you
senators.
You don't have the issue.
What? We do. Healthcare actually. The voters actually trust us on it. They're wondering where your concepts of a plan are taking them.
If they trusted you would have won the White House.
That's not
you
true.
don't have any power in Washington.
Trump is minus 36 on.
Guys, I'm lost. Which one is it? Do Democrats have all the power to stop this shutdown, or do they have no power in Washington like he just said? Like, make it make sense. I just don't get it. They literally claim to have all this power except for when it's time to do something for the American people. And it kills me like they act like they don't know what she's talking about. You need 60 senators in order to keep the government open. You guys only have 53, so that must mean at some point you're going to have to talk to the Democrats, but they feel like they do not have to. But just like he said, Democrats have no power in Washington, so what the hell are you guys doing, Republicans? Why is the government not open?
Keeping the...
That's a good question. As we've reached day 28 comes to a close, tomorrow will be 29. On the 29th. That's crazy. 29 on the 29th. I guess because the government shut down on the 1st. That makes sense, huh? But we still got the 30th and the 31st to get stuff done. Saturday the 1st. Luckily, it's a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? People going to be at homes with their family. They ain't going to be at the grocery store. This will be the first time on the 1st that I could go to the grocery store and it be empty. Because I hate going to the grocery store on the 1st. It's horrible. And hopefully there's a game on so I could go to the grocery store, give me some nachos and stuff like that. Because I don't know about y'all, but going to the grocery store on the 1st, 5th, and the 10th, and the 5th, it sucks. It sucks. But needless to say, it's going to be empty because no SNAP benefits. Unless y'all been holding out on them SNAPs and y'all kept them for the month of October and to bring them into November, which I doubt, but it doesn't matter. But the thing is, I was about to buy some food stamps earlier this month, and I wish I did, because I showed up. I mean, I wouldn't do that. That's a crime. But yeah, somebody offered, and but I didn't get them. So I would kind of feel bad now that they sold me their food stamps and they ain't got no damn food coming up on the 1st. Because them kids, they'll be hungry. But obviously the kids couldn't be hungry if they were selling the food stamps. Obviously the kids got plenty to eat. But either way, it doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. But since the Democrats have all the power but no power at all, what do you have to say about that? It makes no sense. Republicans, what are you guys doing? Are y'all not trying to compromise? Are y'all not doing y'all's due diligence with the Democrats? I think not. I think y'all sitting back there. Y'all say it's a Schumer shutdown, but if Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the White House, this is a Republican shutdown. This is a John Thune. What's that other guy's name? It doesn't matter. And this is a Donald Trump shutdown. This is a John Thune, Mike Johnson. It's a Mike Johnson shutdown. Mike Johnson is the leader of the Republican Party. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, the leader. This is his shutdown. He could end this. He has the power to end this. He has the power to make some changes. But he refuses to work with the Democrats who have no power, who did not shut the government down. You only call it a Democratic shutdown because the Democrats aren't coming to the table to fund this one big beautiful bill, which is an astronomically terrible idea. But just in case y'all don't understand, I guess y'all don't understand because y'all keep calling it a Schumer shutdown. You know what? This goes back to the rhetoric. Y'all pushing dumb rhetoric. It's just asinine that y'all y'all would use these names and call y'all. I'll get this from Trump. Trump calls people names like it's the third grade. Nobody ever called stuff by people's names until Donald Trump came to office. Because, when Elizabeth Warren, what he called her, Pocahontas, Sleepy Joe. We could go on and on about the names. It's just, it's third grade behavior. This is the Schumer shutdown. No, fool, it's the government shutdown. Y'all all in Congress and in the Senate not working together because y'all don't got the balls to stand up towards each other and make something happen. Y'all don't got the balls to actually come to an agreement because y'all want to hold your pride of being a Republican and saying, we put this one big beautiful bill that put the country in trillions of dollars in debt. But at the same time, those tariffs, they bringing in trillions of dollars, but y'all ain't got the money to fund the government at the same time, so it don't make sense. Oh, but Trump knows a lot of billionaires. He's selling America piece by piece. Started with the military. The military's been bought once. It'll be bought again. Guess what? When they start buying Snap, y'all Snap cards they're gonna be tight. The money gonna be tight, big dog. So just know the Republicans hold the House. Republicans hold the White House. This is your shutdown. You could do better. You don't want to do better. Just say it. You don't want to do better. If you voted Republican, you don't want to do better because you gonna get online and you gonna type on with your little thumbs, and then you're gonna be like, did the Schumer shut down? We don't have nothing to do with this. And when you have everything to do with it because you control the whole government. You control the entire government. I don't think that's a lie. That's the truth. If you think you're lying now, wait until tonight. Because y'all can't get it together. I would hate to be a Republican today. Because we control all three branches of government and we can't get a deal. That's weak. Y'all should be calling y'all senator and giving them a piece of y'all mind, but y'all won't. I will. Senator James Langford got an email from me today that said, man, you better get your arson gear because this is going on too long. If I don't get my SNAP benefits by the 1st, you will not get my vote next year. That's what I told him.
So what's going on with food stamps about to run out? 42 million Americans who depend on the SNAP or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program to eat, to survive. That's going to run out on Saturday? Yep. And let me explain. So right now, if you go to the U.S. Department of Agriculture website, it says, quote, Senate Democrats have now voted 12 times to not fund the food stamp program, also known as SNAP. Bottom line, the well has run dry. We're approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive nutrition assistance.
You got to throw the mothers and babies in there. You got to, every time they try to get something done, they say, think about the mothers and the babies. First of all, a government website blaming Democrats is crazy when Republicans are in power. Okay, let's just say it's a Democratic shutdown. It's a Democrat shutdown. So they have all the power? Are you Republicans saying that you guys aren't strong enough? Do you not have the might? Do you not have the power? Is the White House basically a victim of the Schumer shutdown? Oh, cry your conservative tears. You're crying your conservative tears. Just cry me a river. Look at this.
That's quite a stark description of the reason that the government is shut down, Democrats say they're doing it to restore Medicaid benefits and also to
$40 billion sent to Argentina could have funded SNAP through November. But instead, y'all want to feed Argentina. Feed Argentina, Republicans, but you won't feed Americans? How un-American is that?
continue the extension of the Obamacare subsidy so people can afford health insurance, which expires at the end of the year. But be that as it may, Democrats say, wait a second, there is a contingency fund for food stamps. And in fact, you can go back on the Wayback Machine and find a memo from all the way back just on September 30th of this year, so not really that long ago, that says congressional intent is evident that SNAP's operation should continue since the program has been provided with multi-year contingency funds to ensure that the state can continue operations during a federal government shutdown. Multi-year contingency funds available to fund participant benefits in the event that a lapse occurs in the middle of the fiscal year. So that's a Trump Agricultural Department memo from September 30th, but it's no longer on their website. And I asked USDA, what's up with that? And they said, oh, that's an iterative document. I said, what does that mean? They said it's constantly changing. They no longer think it's true. They think that their current legal analysis, which they acknowledge many disagree with,
the USDA is lying to you in your face, Republicans,
is that these funds are only for the event of a natural disaster, even if this September 30th document says it's for a government shutdown or can be used for a government shutdown. Democrats say that the Trump administration is changing their interpretation of the law so they can use the hunger of...
Wait, when it doesn't work for you, you can change the law? Oh, something got to be illegal with that, but we're going to get into more of that.
Of 42 million Americans to pressure Democrats to vote to reopen the government. The Trump administration says, no, that's not true. This is just their legal interpretation, and Democrats should vote to reopen the government because these are vital nutrition programs. In any case, what's going to happen is, unless something changes, 42 million Americans are at risk of going hungry.
Putting blame aside here, what is your strategy to end the shutdown?
Look, on November 1st, people in more than 30 states are going to be aghast when they see their bills, and they're going to cry out. And I believe there will be increased pressure on Republicans to negotiate with us.
Putting blame aside here.
Republicans, you have the power. Go negotiate with the owl from the Tootsie Pop commercial. He gonna be sitting in there counting how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, waiting on y'all. I don't know if y'all ever ate a Tootsie Pop before. I'm sure some of y'all have, old asses. But it takes a long time. But Chuck Schumer, only 3. Okay? Listen, y'all got all the power. What are we doing? Go negotiate. Get off your arses. Go negotiate. Get in there. Why are y'all taking off? They got another vacation coming up? I bet they do.
So I just finally got confirmation that food stamps is officially cut for next month.
About 2 months ago, I stopped eating dinner almost every night of the week so that my boyfriend and I could have enough food left over to have lunch the next day. This was before we were about to lose our food stamps. Mind you, we both work.
I don't think that we really realize the depths that this is, the damage that this is going to do, but the women, the mothers, and the families, but the mothers especially, who are going...
Save the mothers, Republicans!
...going to go without meals so their children don't have to. I know that I will absolutely be one of those mothers.
But because we have children and because aftercare and before care is too expensive, I've taken a job that's basically minimum wage so that I can be there to pick up my kids. I cannot fathom what we're gonna do without that food stamp money. Because if I already couldn't eat dinner with that food stamp money,
I'm so tired of seeing people say like, oh, well, maybe if you had a job, you could get your groceries, or, you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't have to depend on stamps. I work full time. Thank you. And I do rely on stamps because guess what? It's not enough money in this economy for me to be able to pay bills and get stuff that we need and provide for my 2 kids. So yes, I depend on stamps. And I have a full-time job. So please know that people out here depend on stamps is not because we out here just mooching off the government. It's because we literally need that to provide for our family.
I work hard every single day. I get up every single day and clean houses, and I still rely on food stamps to feed my 6 children because the prices are so high. It's unrealistic to think about not having food stamps. Next month, I'm so terrified because 6 babies are always eating. Plus myself, I eat about 1 meal a day, but still. So I just kind
Ooh, Republicans, y'all under pressure. Y'all under immense pressure right now. Y'all better get in there and get talking. Get to negotiating. Let's get that health care. It's not for illegals. Now there's some illegal loopholes. There's some loopholes in there that need to be straightened up. That's a fact. There are some loopholes that provide health care for illegals. And although it can be stopped, but it can be funneled down. We can trickle it down to a smaller number. Okay, but we just got to figure something out. And we got to figure it out with the government open. So, Republicans, this is on you. Get on your senator today, or all these mothers and children will be foodless come Saturday.
Put up these standalone bills that perhaps pay the military, to pay federal workers, to provide SNAP assistance, or do you think it has to be done all in one fell swoop?
I don't know. I mean, this piecemeal approach where you do one off here, one off there, to make it seem, more politically palatable to somebody or less painful, it's just the wrong way to do this. There's just a simple way to do it, is to pick up the bill on the desk of the Senate and give us 5 more Democrat votes to pass it so that the president can sign it into law and end the shutdown. I get the rationale. People think about these issues in terms of, well, this one, let's do this one, or this one. But that's not the way to approach this. The way to approach this is to reopen the government.
In past shutdowns, there have been Republicans and Democratic administrations have tapped into contingency funds to help pay for these expiring SNAP benefits. Why not do that now to allow for this lifeline to continue for at least a few more weeks for people who really need it?
Well, does it make any sense to any American, with the exception of obviously it would benefit people who are receiving food assistance through SNAP, but to keep the government shut down for another 3 weeks? Why wouldn't you just open it up and have everybody get their benefits now? Again, I don't understand the thinking or the rationale behind doing these one-off rifle shots to try and do pieces of this and pieces of this. I think the White House obviously is faced with a tough decision. They have to figure out how do they reallocate, reprioritize funding, where it goes, where it doesn't go. And they're doing everything they can legally and with the capacity that they have available to them to try and make this, I think, as painless as possible. But there is a point at which they don't have that capacity anymore. And I think we've reached that point.
I think you got to take those rifle shots at this point. You got to do some negotiations. It has to be 1, 2, 3. And the health care, we probably still won't get health care after this because it's in the one big beautiful bill, and they won't pass that. They won't pass the spending for the health care unless that it is in that one big beautiful bill being signed. Okay, I think they need to repeal that one big beautiful bill, take it back into office, Get with the Al from the Tootsie Pop commercial and get this thing done. Go call Hakeem Jeffries in there. Call the rest of the Democrats in to vote on it and get it done. That's what it takes, right? All you have to do is go in there and renegotiate. They're not coming to the table to sign that one big beautiful bill. They're not. Okay? That is a trash bill. That is Project 2025. But y'all don't get it.
Practically speaking, aren't you out of time here? Insurance companies have set these premiums in place. That's how they're already in the mail for people to open and see on Saturday. What becomes the strategy after November 1st if this shutdown it lasts that long?
Well, listen, we want to reopen the government, and we need to stand by our hardworking federal employees who are doing all that they can to make sure that taxpayer dollars are spent effectively and efficiently, even under the most adverse circumstances. Remember, in terms of federal employees, the Trump administration has fired or dismissed more than 200,000 civil servants prior to them shutting the government down on October 1st. We want to reopen the government. Now, in terms of health care, part of the reality is that tens of millions of people are already receiving notices in October that their premiums are about to skyrocket because of the Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit. And by the way, they have had the opportunity, both House Republicans and Senate Republicans, repeatedly throughout the year to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, and they've consistently voted against it. That's why we need action, not simply words, a wing and a prayer promise from people who have tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act more than 70 different times since 2010.
But aren't the premiums already locked in here, or are you saying Republicans are right when you can make up for it at the end of the year with the tax credit?
The premiums are not locked in terms of the reality that if we can act legislatively and act now, we can extend the open enrollment period. We can push it back, and we can intervene as a Congress in order to actually protect the affordability of health insurance for tens of millions of people.
Republicans, your constituents, millions of your constituents' healthcare premiums are about to rise. And okay, listen, I don't know how many of y'all are on to use the ACA, but I know you got a grandma. I know you got some cousins. Somebody's about to, their healthcare is about to go up. Let's with the one big beautiful bill, their healthcare about to go up. But y'all got to reason with them. You got to look your family in the eye and say, as a Republican, I will. Granny, you got to take that pay increase on that. You got to pay them premium increases. You got to pay it because we need this one big beautiful bill, Granny. Look, Granny, you only here for a few more years, so you know if you can't afford your medicine, it's okay. We'll have the proper burial for you. You gotta go tell your granny that. If you're gonna tell your granny that, then I commend you in everything that you do here.
Congresswoman, thanks for stepping out. What are the top takeaways? What do we need to know about this hearing and what you're hearing from people who are impacted?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to just say right off the bat that we are 5 days away from SNAP benefits being cut off from 42 million Americans. And not only is Donald Trump not here, not negotiating, Mike Johnson has now shut down the House for 39 consecutive days. That means he has canceled votes. It means there is no Republicans here. It means there's no one to negotiate with. And across town, the president is building a $300 million ballroom while he is set to let Americans starve. So Democrats showed up for work this week. We are here on Capitol Hill. We are having a hearing right now to talk about health care, to talk about food assistance. But this is an emergency situation, and these guys haven't even bothered to show up for work.
Congresswoman, thanks for.
The federal government has made a deliberate choice to leave 42 million Americans.
Congresswoman, thanks for.
Before we get to this, is FEMA a government program? Because as we speak, Hurricane Melissa, ooh, shout out to Melissas. They are some drastic people. Hurricane Melissa is coming onto, American soil soon. I think it's passing over Jamaica right now. They might need a little bit of aid. Can FEMA do their job? Do they have the funding? Does FEMA need to be refunded? Do they need? Are they on a government shutdown too? Because if FEMA's in this, it could get worse. It could get worse. Trust me, if FEMA can't do their job, it could get worse. Y'all gotta think about that.
The federal government has made a deliberate choice to leave 42 million Americans, most of them children, elders, and people with disabilities, without any assistance to buy food. It is an inhumane and cruel decision to suspend SNAP benefits for millions of Americans. Indeed, never in the history of our great country, including during government shutdowns, has the federal government ever turned off this funding. This is truly an unprecedented time. I'm here today representing an incredible team at the Mass AGO, announcing that I am leading a coalition of 22 AGs and 3 governors from across the country in filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration to ensure that these SNAP benefits continue to flow to all of our families, not just here in Massachusetts, but to every family across the country.
And the best of us is to step in when the federal government and Senate Democrats fail to do their job. I want to reiterate, this is not easy. We are creating a parallel food assistance program or system that in fact is going to step in where the federal government is not able to because the Democrats are keeping it shut. This parallel system, which we are calling Virginia Emergency Nutrition Assistance, or VENA, is like building an airplane while it's taking off. It has never been done before. And we are restricted in that we can't just fund into the SNAP program. We have to build a parallel system. And the best of us is to...
What does that mean? Do they gotta pass? Everybody gotta go get a voucher or something like that? Like, because how can you pass out, hundreds of thousands of cards by Saturday? Like, it can be done. It can be done, but that means getting all the information to all the people in the state of Virginia that have SNAP benefits, making sure that you have a correct address for them, sending out cards to God knows where, and just in the hopes that those people get those cards. So if you've moved in the past month or so, that card could be going to somebody else. Or how do you receive that voucher? The line for that voucher will be long as goddamn. It'll be long. People will be out there for days waiting to get their voucher. I don't even think the printer could print fast enough to get these people their vouchers. And how do you control that system? How do you keep illegals from getting SNAP vouchers or VENA vouchers? You can't. It's gonna be too tough. I don't know. It's a good idea for the time being, but hey, how about you just go in there and renegotiate and get it done that way, and you can use this on the next government shutdown, because it's bound to happen again. We got 3 more years of Trump. I'm sure it'll happen again.
If you didn't do your job in business, you didn't get paid. You don't show up and do your job, you don't get paid. Why are we getting paid? We shouldn't get paid if we don't do our job. We need to figure out how to work together to get our budgets done. It's as simple as that.
So you're going to offer legislation to not get paid during shutdowns?
Absolutely. I already have a bill. We've got a bill that we don't get paid during the shutdown. Ron Johnson's got a bill that will never have shutdowns. That should pass also. But on top of that, what are the Democrats doing? This is a clean resolution. All we're doing is keeping the funding. Actually, the funding is too high. It's still the Biden funding. But I don't want to shut down government, so I support it. But the Democrats, they want to shut down for whatever reason. How is this good for the country? Nobody wins with a shutdown. If you didn't do your job in business.
Yeah. This is when you watch the news and you be like, they're not telling the whole truth. They're playing a blame game. Nobody's coming to tell the truth. What's in, like, we went through the bills. If you could go back to past live and see what's in the bill that everybody's, fighting against, the illegal loophole, the illegal immigrant loophole that California started, and it's just spread nationwide because it's giving funding to California, and they keep inflating their funds based on how many illegal immigrants are getting health care based on them going to the hospital and then receiving treatment and then receiving health care based on certain qualifications and all that other stuff. Like, go back to the other lives. We discussed it. But the fact of the matter is, that's what this is about. And it's not a Schumer shutdown. It's a Republican shutdown because y'all won't figure it out. Y'all have the power, but y'all giving off to Democrats as if they have the power. But you have the House, the Senate, and the White House. Why don't y'all have the power? Why don't y'all don't have the negotiation powers? Where is the art of the deal? The author of the art of the deal is not trying to make a deal. The author of the art of the deal is holding out also. He's holding out.
The White House is doubling down on blaming the Democrats for this weeks-long shutdown over a standoff in funding plans for the federal government. But Democrats say this looming hunger crisis is avoidable. SNAP is the Safety Food Assistance Program, which helps feed more than 600,000 people in the Bay Area alone who otherwise really struggle with grocery costs. Now, the Trump administration is refusing to tap into emergency funds that could keep the program running, saying it does not have the legal authority to use contingency funds for these SNAP benefits. But California says that argument violates federal law.
Trump and his administration are willing to put more than 41 million Americans at risk of hunger, at risk of food insecurity, at risk of malnutrition, if it gives them a new play in their twisted political game. They are playing politics.
If successful, California and the more than 20 other states that are suing might be able to get some of those SNAP benefits back for their residents, but that wouldn't apply to Americans in those Republican states that are not part of this litigation. In the meantime, California is fast-tracking $80 million in state funding to support food banks and offset some of these delays in federal CalFresh benefits.
That means states like Oklahoma and Texas won't be receiving benefits. So if you're in Oklahoma and you don't get your SNAP benefits, well, you know who to blame. Chuck Schumer and the Schumer shutdown. No, guys, it's Republicans. Because y'all not even included in the lawsuit. Politics are petty. They didn't even include all the states. They just included the Democratic states. Ooh, let me call some of my Democratic state family and see if they can pass me some stamps. Like, I'm gonna ask them if they can order me something on, because if you can use your snaps at Walmart and order the food anywhere. So I'm gonna have them order me some food because we gonna run out. We ain't gonna get our SNAP benefits coming on the 1st, so I'm gonna need to borrow some.
As has been mentioned, yesterday, the largest federal workers union in the country, they represent 820,000 federal workers, released a statement calling on Democrats to stop playing political games, pass our clean CR, and reopen the government. What was Chuck Schumer's response? Silence. Crickets. He declined to comment. Meanwhile, millions of federal workers are reevaluating how to make ends meet. Air traffic controllers missed their first full paycheck today. Some are turning to food banks, as we've discussed, in order to feed their families. Here is what one Democrat and retired federal worker had to say about the current state of play. Quote, "The Democrats are the ones that actually, in the Senate side, shut down the government. So they have to get together and stop holding Americans hostage. We're about to have people without food, and that's ridiculous. It's not worth it. Remember, that's coming from a Democrat and retired federal worker. Since Chuck Schumer and company won't listen to us, maybe they'll start listening to members of their own party. Enough is enough. You're playing politics with people's lives. And as Leader Scalise and the Speaker have reminded us, for what? So that you can appease the radical pro-terrorist wing of your party. So that you can fundraise off of picking a fight with President Trump. It's not worth
it. This lady in the comments says, who can fire Schumer? Who's going to tell her? Oh my gosh.
0 Golf Bravo, stop. Stop.
The high stakes in the air driven home by a San Francisco controller preventing a near disaster this month as a business jet nearly crossed in front of a departing commercial jet.
0 Golf Bravo, stop.
Today, controllers nationwide missed their first full paycheck, with the FAA reporting another 3,000 delays, some due to controller shortages. 24% of all flights delayed Monday, 44% Sunday. An ongoing problem for years, but now made more acute as controllers work without a paycheck, some calling out sick. Nick Daniels is the president of the Controllers Union.
Tomorrow is going to be less safe than today. When an air traffic controller isn't 100% focused on the job that they do day in and day out, that puts this system at risk.
TSA officers missed their first paycheck last Friday.
I didn't buy my medicine this month. I didn't go get my medicine. And I'm not the only person who couldn't go and get their medication.
Local TSA union president LaShonda Palmer and her colleagues worried about paying the rent.
We're all one step away from being out on the street right about now. They don't have money for gas. They don't have money to get childcare. They don't have food.
I am an unpaid air traffic controller.
Handing out flyers urging Congress to end the shutdown, Controller Pete Lefevre.
I'm simply a federal worker trying to do a job and bring home a paycheck for my family.
Also tonight, 25 states are suing the Trump administration for refusing to fund food assistance expiring this week. 42 million people depend on it as Washington's political brinkmanship continues, with both sides blaming each other. Tom?
0 Golf Bravo, stop.
I got a message from a controller that said I'm running out of money, and if she doesn't get the medicine she needs, she dies. That's the end. So I'm going to either have to quit this job and take a different one instead of moving America's passengers through it or the cargo. Now I'm going to have to choose my family and my daughter.
Somebody came to me and said, Joe, I have a question for you. I said, what's that? I need your advice. What am I to do? Do I put gas in my car? Do I put food on the table? My wife is out making money. We don't have money for daycare. What do I do? I didn't have the answers.
Day in and day out, that's now the life of an air traffic controller. The people tasked with making the impossible possible are having it made impossible by not paying them again. So the message is simple. End the shutdown today. I got a message from a controller. Welcome to day 2.
The message is simple. The process is not as simple. Okay? We can say end the shutdown and sign the one big beautiful bill. We can do it. We can do it. Let's go for it. Mind you, Republicans, if that one big beautiful bill turns out to be more devastating than it helps, y'all gonna hold that for a long time. Y'all gonna hold that for a long time. And guess what? We're gonna have 4 or 3 years, possibly 7 more years of this mess. So y'all better hope it works. Whatever happens, you better hope it works. Either way, I don't have a dog in the fight. I have health care. I have a private job. So this don't really affect me. My health care premiums might go up. It is what it is. I can't do nothing about it. I don't have a dog in that fight. I can't be like, I can't argue that. But it's people that will be affected. So the people that will be affected, we just got to say like, hey, it is what it is.
28 of the Democrat shutdown. We're almost a month into this, and we wanted to highlight a couple of things and a few members this morning. There are some very important developments. But before we get to all that, one of the things that we wanted to note is that really it's painfully obvious to everyone the true motivation of the Democrats' historic obstruction has now become very clear for everyone. I want to use a little simple, Lily, if you show me this real quick. Just real quick, simple facts, because these things get obscured too much. But there are simple facts about the Democrat shutdown that everybody needs to recognize. Here's 4 of them. First of all, we have to have Democrats to reopen the government. You know that in the Senate it requires 60 votes to break an impasse. Wait, hang it on, Lily, hold it real here. Keep it close to the podium. I want everybody to see this, okay? We're going to make it simple. I had my 15-year-old son and some of his friends were together over the weekend, and they wanted me to explain it to them as simply as possible. This is the little formulation, okay? Hey, fellas, remember from civics, you got to have 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans, so we must have Democrats to do it. The Democrats are out trying to claim that this is all on Republicans because we control the government. We don't control the Senate without 60 votes, so you have to have them. Now they've voted 13 times, those Senate Democrats, counting the House and the Senate together, they voted 13 times to keep the government closed. And what they're demanding as a ransom to reopen the government are some really crazy things. They want to restore $200 billion in health benefits paid for by U.S. taxpayers to illegal aliens and non-citizens. We can't do that. They want billions of dollars in wasteful programs to be returned to foreign countries for things.
See, that's what I don't agree with. Like, they say $200 billion to fund illegal. It's not $200 billion to fund illegal health care for illegal immigrants. That's not the truth. Is there some truth in the statement? Yes, because of the loopholes. Close the freaking loopholes. Close the loopholes. If that's what it is, close the loopholes. It's not $200 billion for illegal immigrants. They're not giving $200 billion to illegal immigrants. That's preposterous. It's a lie. There's some truth in it? Yes. Because through the loophole, I'm going to keep explaining it, that is illegal immigrants will receive health care based on those loopholes. Close the loopholes. It's that simple. Go in there and negotiate. Figure it out. Sign the bill and start closing the loopholes. You have to, if you can put your foot down this much for this one big beautiful bill, you can go in and start closing those loopholes immediately. But y'all don't want to do the work. Y'all just want to shut everybody out of it. They just want to shut everybody out of it. That's what they're doing.
That none of you would agree with. We're not going to do that. They want $500 million to go back to left-leaning news organizations, paid for by taxpayers. We can't do that. And then they want to cut $50 billion from the Rural Hospital Fund that Republicans got signed into law July 4th to prop up health care in red states and rural areas around the country. It's too important. But they
red states? They don't want to do it for blue states, just red states?
Way. They know that we can't do it. And now that they've begun to admit what this is all about, thanks, Lee, put it on the thing there. They're admitting what they're up to. Chuck Schumer said every day of the shutdown gets better for us, meaning the Democrat Party. And you know, we had the second-ranked Democrat in the House, the minority whip, who just said a few days ago, the end of last week, that we know that this is causing great pain for the American people, but we have to use this leverage. We don't have many times where we have leverage like this. And so they've shown you what the real motivation is. But ultimately, why are they doing all that? Let me summarize this really quickly, as simply as I can, for the civic students back home. Republicans are not demanding anything, literally nothing. All we want is to reopen the government. The Democrats are...
Wait, what? You're not demanding anything? Like the one big beautiful bill isn't one big demand? Yeah, we listen to this.
Demanding all those things I just showed you on the chart, plus a lot more. When I say they want to send money to foreign countries, this is some of the things that that they would propose that we spend money on again. They're demanding, this is a ransom to reopen the government. Things like $4 million for global LGBTQI plus awareness campaigns around the world. $4 million for the LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Balkans. They want $2 million for feminist democratic principles projects in Africa. We're not doing that. But
well, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut that out. Okay, tell them, okay, we're not doing that. Okay, what else do you want money for? We need the $200 billion for the health care. Okay, cut the illegals out. Cut it where the illegals can't get health care. Okay, get the real Americans health care. Cut it out. That's how you get it done. Mike Johnson don't want to do that. Mike Johnson don't want to negotiate. Mike Johnson and John Thune don't want to negotiate. This is their shutdown. They're causing this. If you need the Democrats' vote, you need to meet the Democrats somewhere in the middle. But y'all won't. It's not even, y'all don't even got to step over to their side. You just got to, get closer. It's that simple. It's that simple. Tell them we're not funding that shit. I don't even know why we funding anything around the world. Let's fund America. So if that's really what the Democrats is doing, goddamn it, Democrats, cut it out. Cut it out. We don't need it. Can we fund America first and then get with the other stuff later? You know what I'm saying? Do a fundraiser or something. I don't know, but don't do it right now. Like we talk about real American problems, and we shouldn't be focusing on the world. Let Donald Trump keep giving money to Argentina and all that other crap. But right now, Democrats, cut that bull crap out of there and let's get it done.
But again, the question is why? Why? This sounds crazy. It is. Why would they do this? And what we saw on vivid display over the weekend was the re-emphasis of this fact. This is motivated purely out of fear. And what do we mean by that? You saw the Democratic leader in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, endorse Zohran Mamdani for mayor of New York City on Friday. It was an illustration of what we're facing here. The Democrats right now fear the far left activists more than they fear air traffic controllers, border patrol agents, American service members, and so many others missing their paychecks. They fear the Marxist insurgents like Mamdani more than they fear families and children going hungry from lapsed benefits that keep food on their tables. They simply fear losing their own political positions next November if they don't appease the angry far left base right now. And they will appease that base at any cost, no matter how much pain's inflicted. In fact, they've said in their own words, this gets better for us day by day. How does it get better? Because they're proving to the angry far left base in their party that they will prioritize them over the American people. And simply put, it's the profound fear in the Democratic Party that drives this shutdown. It is not principle, it is not policy, it is certainly not concern for the constituents that they say that they want to represent. We know that because even their own constituents now are begging Democrats to stop the political games and reopen the government.
If the Republicans say to open up the government and then we'll negotiate, they saying all that with their fingers crossed behind their back, like, and shaking your hand. Yeah, we'll do it. No, they're not. They're not going to do it. They're not going to negotiate after the fact. They're going to go through whatever bullcrap plan the one big beautiful bill is. Y'all not paying. You think once when you go buy a car and they give you a contract, just sign the contract, just buy the car, and then we'll negotiate your price after you purchase the car. Do you think they do that? You think they're gonna be like, oh, well, now that you've signed it, yeah, we could give you a lower payment. We can cut some thousands off of that. No. Come on, y'all can't be that gullible for real.
Using to vote for the continuing resolution. You're blaming the Republicans for the shutdown, but in point of fact, it's the Democrats in the Senate who are refusing to vote for the clean continuing resolution to fund the government for 7 weeks. I mean, that just just as a point of fact, the way that we have always covered shutdowns is that the party that is not voting for the CR, the continuing resolution to fund the government, is the party that is blocking the government funding and is responsible for the shutdown. That's how we.
Real world effects from the shutdown, though. I mean, are people saying, wait a minute, we understand the healthcare argument, but I'm not getting a paycheck now?
Yeah, I mean, shutdowns are terrible.
And but are they criticizing your side, the Republican side, a pox on all your houses, saying, I need that paycheck, I'm a federal worker?
You know, we are seeing that, of course, families that are all of a sudden relying on, a paycheck for the work they do from the federal government, when that doesn't come, that's an incredible hardship. Shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have. I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have.
Choosing to vote for the continuing resolution. You're blaming the.
Starting with Republicans, how has the shutdown seemed to have affected their political standing?
You might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were shut down, despite the fact.
Man, they're using this board like this is NBA inside the NBA looking at us. What is this? Drawn on the board, the flag on the play. They threw a Hail Mary across here, and come on, man. You can look at this number. It's up 5%. Why do you have to draw on the board to tell us to focus on the 5%, the 5 points or whatever? This is nothing but a game. This is nothing but a game.
Republicans control, and that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at. Is why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say they're.
And how do they come up with these numbers? Exactly how do they come up with these numbers? It makes absolutely no sense. Oh, shit.
Position is getting better with whom?
Whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, change in the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle. Something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
And Democrats, of course, they have their eyes on the midterm elections. We have elections 1 week from today, but what Democrats in Congress are mostly focused on are 1 year and 1 week from today from the midterm. So how are they positioned right now?
So, I mean, look, the generic congressional ballot, which traditionally Democrats have done really well on. If you look at this point back when Trump was president the first time around, Democrats are up 11 points. Look at where it is now. Democrats are ahead, but they're actually only up 3 points. This is, in fact, the worst position Democrats have been in a generic ballot at this point in midterm when there was a Republican president in the last 20 years. And this is no different from shutdown. So Republicans aren't losing on this metric either. They become more popular, and they're actually in a pretty good position for them historically when it comes to the generic congressional ballot.
This is a concerning number for Democrats, are you saying?
This is a concerning number for Democrats because it's considerably worse than they traditionally do in midterm elections when there's a Republican president.
Harriet, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know where he get these points from, but that just sounds like a bunch of crap. If the Democrats are doing better, but they're in a worse position than the Republicans. I don't get it. I don't get it. I gotta see more. I gotta see more data on what the hell this means. Yeah, I don't know. This is like an over and under.
I think the suggestion about us maybe taking fewer long weekends is something not only that we should consider, but I'm going to challenge this body. I got a long commute home, folks. And I'm not begrudging that, but I don't think that we should be going home and just behaving as if this was another week in the United States Senate. Not when we have a government shutdown. Americans are being impacted when we don't do our job. And maybe this idea of we don't go home this weekend until we resolve this, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe we just look at one another and say, I'm not even going to talk to you. Maybe we just continue on with multiple rounds of the same vote that we've been taking for the past 27 days and see if we get a different result. Now, some say that's the definition of insanity. I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that when we leave and we assume that things are fine, or we send that message that things are fine because we've just gone home and it's just business as usual here, then people whose lives are really being impacted right now, they think we don't get it. We do get it. We need to act to end the shutdown. And I'm going to call on all of my colleagues to stay here until we get it done. I think.
Now, shout out to her because she, Lisa Murkowski. She called it all her. She didn't say Democrats. She didn't say Chuck Schumer shutdown. She said all of my colleagues. She said, I got a long commute home. I'm not trying to take 3 flights to Alaska. I want to get this done. I don't want to go back home to the cold. I already know what it feels like out there. I'm trying to get this work done so I can go back and do what I really need to do with my constituents instead of being here for this shutdown. That is what she's saying, and that is a true patriot of America, Lisa Murkowski. She got a Russian name, though, but it's all good, though. We believe in you.
So just in less than a week, Americans are going to see their health care costs spike dramatically, going up 100, 200, 300%. They know that. The president knows that. He said he wanted to do something about this. But as far as I could tell, he's spent about 1 hour negotiating with Democrats on this issue. And now he's taken off on another trip overseas. So why doesn't he get in the room with us and make Mike Johnson bring the Republican Congress back? What happened to those folks? They've been gone for over 6 weeks now on this extended summer vacation. He needs to get them back into Washington, get them in the room. We can have a serious
Scott Bessent
discussion.
said it wouldn't.
If we could have a real negotiation about this and with the president has spent 1 hour on this. How much time has he spent talking about his ballroom? His ballroom that he got all these folks, and they're going to probably get something out of it, to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on this room that almost every single American taxpayer will never go in that room. So just in less than a week.
Do y'all think Mark Kelly got a point? 1 hour speaking to Democrats on this whole shutdown. 1 hour? Yo, we gotta do better than this. Are y'all gonna call one of y'all's presidents? Oh, that's our president too. I forgot. Damn.
Democrats, we believe in a strong floor and no ceiling. That in America, when you work hard and play by the rules, you should be able to achieve any level of success. There should be no ceiling to what you can achieve. Work hard, play by the rules. At the same period of time, there's got to always be a strong floor. That's anchored in things like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act, veterans benefits, and nutritional assistance. And unfortunately, Republicans are trying to destroy that floor and hurt everyday Americans. Democrats, we believe in a strong...
We're on the precipice of a historic crisis, and Republicans don't even want to talk to us about fixing it. And Trump, where's he? Not even in the U.S. What's he focused on? Trump's focused on $40 billion for Argentina, $170 million in luxury jets for Kristi Noem, $300 million for his ballroom. In fact, his ballroom says that that is his main priority. Can you believe that? You can't make this stuff up. His number one priority is his ballroom when people are suffering? What kind of president is this?
Calm down, Chuck. We don't need your blood pressure rising right now. We need you. Hang in there, buddy.
Paid for his ballroom and not a dime to stop the healthcare crisis. We're on the precipice.
It's not very often that I get a chance to say this, but I agree with the AFGE, American Federation of Government Employees, who largest government employees union, who said earlier this week that the Democrats need to reopen the government and start getting federal employees paid again. And on that point, they are absolutely right. This is going to get worse as the week goes on, as time goes on. You've already seen the impacts. Federal workers missed their first paycheck last Friday. ATC employees are going to miss their paycheck today. If by the end of the week this isn't over, there will be 40 million Americans who are not going to have food assistance. It's not very often that I get a chance to say this.
Oh, y'all see this little brown nose over here? He just face all in the ass. He just looking with his silly string face having ass. Oh my God, Senator Langford, man, Jesus, Lord have mercy.
We start right now with the alleged murder for hire plot.
It's not very.
All right, well, everyday people. Well, to conclude, day 28, I guess we'll be back for day 29, day 30. We're gonna be saying, we're gonna be trick-or-treating. Actually, I'm going to trick-or-treating with my kids. So we might be late that night. And it'll be a Friday night. Y'all ain't like, some of y'all ain't got shit to do. Ain't like you got to go to the grocery store in the morning. You know? Y'all gonna be sitting up here starving with me, okay? Talking about some, hey, man, listen. And it's actually, man, listen. It's hard out here for a pimp. Unfortunately, some people got to go without food. That's not a laughing matter. People, healthcare is gonna go up. That's not a laughing matter. The government may be shut down. Many more people will probably be furloughed over the next coming weeks, because now it's bound to touch into. It's already in the Department of Defense. It'll probably go further into the Department of Defense. And then they're talking about not even giving these people back pay. So your bills don't get back paid. You know what I'm saying? I got a message from my car payment people, and they was like, yeah, if you're a federal worker and you need, to push back a payment or something like that. And I was like, well, that's crazy. But I mean, I guess it works but you're not just pushing back a payment, because you still get charged for the interest rate that month. You still get charged for that interest rate. So they're just gonna put that last payment on the end of your car payment. But you still gonna get that interest rate for that month. They're not gonna say, oh, we won't charge you interest this month. We're just no, that's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was shout out to the mods in here. Shout out to Lee Hall up in this thing. Do something to do something. But yeah, man, it's looking bad. Listen, there's no need to rush to go out and get any food for the hurricane, because it'll be plenty. Okay, it will be plenty for those people that could possibly be in the line of this hurricane. I don't even know where it's going. I know it'll possibly hit the Gulf or something. But anyway, then what's FEMA gonna do? Is FEMA gonna be able to do their job? At this point, y'all need to be reaching out to y'all family and making sure that y'all family is good, and who y'all need to get who y'all need to help out around y'all's family. You know, friends, neighbors. Y'all need to check on your people, because this don't just impact you; it impacts a lot of people. You know, people might have to come together and create spreads, you know, to feed multiple families. You know, using what we got. You know what I mean? Pull those beans out that cupboard. It's gonna be we're gonna have navy beans one day, pinto beans the next day, lima beans the next day. It's just gonna be beans for days, because that's what people can afford. You can't buy eggs. You can't buy sausage. Uh, that stuff is high. Bacon for the cheapest bacon. I don't even like cheap bacon, but I'm forced to buy cheap bacon that ain't even cheap no more, because it's like $6-7 for a pack of bacon. And then what else was high? I'm talking about now this sound bougie as hell, but I had to make my own gravy, because I don't feel like I gotta make my own gravy, because it's only me eating. So I just buy a little deal, but the jar of gravy, $4.50. I gotta make box mashed potatoes, because I don't want to peel no potatoes and have a whole sack of potatoes just for one meal. So I gotta buy boxed potatoes. Listen, everybody gotta do some cutbacks these days, and it's okay. It's okay, because we gonna make it. Ain't nothing wrong with eating, off-brand saltine crackers. Look, I got great value water, because even water is expensive. Water really ain't that expensive. I just don't value water like that, so I just buy the cheaper ones. It is what it is. But yeah, a lot of people around the world are cutting back just cause. Cutting back just cause. You know how many cars are being sent back to dealerships? People are sending their cars back to dealerships because they can't afford them. Yo, it is absolutely insane right now. It is insane. Okay? So we just gotta add some butter to them instant mashed potatoes. You know, prices is outrageous. And now with insurance, if my insurance goes up, because I have one insurance, but since I switched jobs, I gotta get the new. I haven't updated the new insurance. So now I have to update my insurance, and if my premium goes, man, I already felt it when I first had this insurance. My last job, my insurance was $300 a month for vision, dental, and health insurance. And they paid for a lot of different services but this new insurance, they don't pay for nothing. I got a doctor bill right now that's high as hell that I'm paying. Like, man, bruh, I ain't gonna lie. This shit ain't eat ice. Oh shit. Yeah, man. You gotta buy a freezer, freeze stuff for later. We gotta do something. We gotta be more efficient. And you know what? At this point, I heard something like we gotta fight back with the prices. We gotta start being more resourceful. So in every way, we are too wasteful with stuff. We're too wasteful. We've been taken advantage of by prices. Man, what was I looking at? Oh, man, my job, they got a cafeteria, and they raised the price on the food in the cafeteria, and I'm like, man, I don't want to pay $15 for a sandwich and chips and a fountain soda. Like, that's absolutely insane to to be charging that much for a sandwich. And it's not even like a good sandwich. It's a decent sandwich, but it ain't no Slotchkis. I might as well go to Slotchkis. But for convenience, because they only give you, 30 minutes to eat, we don't got time to go to Slotchkis. You either gotta bring your lunch, but we can't bring our lunch because we ain't got no food in the fridge. And you wonder why America's so fat, because processed food is cheaper than buying something healthy, and even processed food is going up. So processed food go up, fat people go down. No more too something to do something, Lee. No more too something to do something. No, I eat at Subway every day, but I eat their lunch menu. It's like $6.99 for a 6-inch sandwich, chips and a drink. I gotta eat that. I don't even like the meatball marinara, but shit, if I'm spending $7 is cheaper than bringing my lunch every day. I'm paying $10, $15 to bring my lunch every day. No, you can't. If you bring your lunch, man. We just watched a video the other day where, people was talking about people how they bring their lunch. Like, oh man, no, man, them turkey sandwiches don't hit like they did when I was a kid. The turkey and cheese sandwiches don't hit like that. You know what I'm saying? Aldi's has a $40 Thanksgiving meal that includes turkey and all that. That's great. If it feeds a family of 5, that's $8 a meal. That's a great deal for a Thanksgiving meal. No lie. 4 pieces of chicken at Kroger's, $5. That's not a bad deal. Well, on Tuesdays, like today, I order KFC. Online, because if you order it online, you can pick what time you want to pick it up, and it's there ready for you. I go get the 8-piece for $10. It's an 8-piece for $10 at KFC every Tuesday. And I come home and I make my box mashed potatoes or my Kraft macaroni and cheese and some green beans, some Glory green beans with potatoes. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Cut back, Americans. Americans, we gonna make it through it, okay? Everyday people, man, it is 9:55. I'm going to close this out. Thank y'all for joining. Thanks to my mods. Thanks to everybody who shows up every night. And, man, we're going to keep it cracked. We're going to keep bringing the political stance in America and keep, we're going to keep each other in tune. I'm going to keep y'all in tune. And like I said, I'm a Democrat, and I just love shitting on Republicans because that's what it seems like. I don't know. I don't even care. I'm not even shitting on y'all. I'm just making jokes, honestly, because I want to see what's best for America. That's it. I just want to see what's best for America. It don't. At the end of the day, we all gotta live together. Like, we could come on here and talk about, oh, you Democrats suck and you Republicans suck, and man, but then you go work right alongside Democrats and Republicans. You got family that's Democrats and Republicans. So, So, yes, thank you. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Facebook, Everyday PJ. You can follow me on Instagram, Everyday PJ. You can follow me everywhere, Everyday PJ, man. New channel coming tomorrow. Y'all can see some more stuff. I'll be sharing that out tomorrow. So, man, make sure y'all keep it lit, man. I'm going to holler at y'all later. I'm finna get my theme music. I'm finna update my background, too, y'all. Oh, I got a new pair of shoes, too, today. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Peace.